It breaks my heart when I remember the level of intimidation and humiliation Igbos are going through in this country called Nigeria. So today, Lagos Court clears Eze Ndigbo in Lagos, Frederick Nwajagu, of terrorism charges, sentenced him to 12 months for impersonation. So this is no longer terrorism case anymore. You guys know what happened during the election, how this man, cried out over how, they are burning Igbo's businesses and all that. So he said that if Lagos government cannot protect the properties and the life of Ndigbo, that he's going to invite IPOB members to come and protect their people. So because of that, they arrested this man almost 2 years right now, and now they sentenced him 12 months for impersonation, while he have already spent almost 2 years in detention. So people are now asking what happened to 2 years that he has wasted. So according to what you're going to hear in this particular video, they said that even he have already overstayed the 12 months they sentenced him, which means Lagos government need to compensate him. If not, he's supposed to take them to court.
The Lagos State High Court has discharged and acquitted Frederick Nwajagu, the Eze Ndigbo of Ajao Estate, of terrorism charges after a trial that lasted nearly 2 years. Nwajagu faced allegations of threatening to invite members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra to Lagos to safeguard Igbo lives and property. Oh, well, it's IPOB. It doesn't look like IPOB is proscribed, because a court judgment also said that, look, IPOB is not a terrorist organization. Oh, well, Justice Yetunde Adesanya ruled that the prosecution failed to substantiate the terrorism-related charges. However, Nwajagu was convicted and sentenced to 12 months in prison for parading himself as a certified chief in Lagos, in violation of the state's Oba and Chiefs law. And having already been in custody since 2023, he was ordered to be released immediately. Reacting to the ruling, Nwajagu's lawyer, Fabian Onwuhalo, described the acquittal as a victory for Igbo people, particularly those facing alleged persecution in Lagos. Onwuhalo criticized the conviction for impersonation, arguing it infringes on the Igbo community's right to freedom of association. The defense team has vowed to appeal the conviction, asserting that the Eze Igbo institution is not governed by Lagos state laws and that the prosecution failed to prove its case. The legal team also highlighted their pro bono efforts in securing justice for Nwajagu. Oh, well, I think it's good news that finally Nwajagu has been released. Now, let's have a video, of what actually led to Nwajagu's arrest, detention, prosecution, and finally acquittal from justice.
We will invite them. Period. Hey. And that's part of what we can be doing for them. We secure them jobs. None of IPOB have not.
The Igwe Nwajagu, saying that, look, because of a series of attacks, on Igbo people, their businesses and all of that, that he was propped, that he was going to. He actually didn't. He just said that he was going to invite members of the IPOB to come to Lagos and protect the Igbo people and their businesses, because according to him, they have been passing through persecution in the hands of people, area boys and all of that. Now, Barrister Darlington, let me come straight to you on this matter. It's a good thing, and I'm sure you'll agree with a lot of people that finally Fabian Nwajagu has been released from incarceration after spending more than 2 years in detention. This thing happened up to 2 years, because this thing happened in 2023. And somehow the court convicted him, for impersonation, because according to the court, he violated the Oba and Chief laws in Lagos State, because he was impersonating himself as an Eze. He's an Eze Ndigbo. Barrister Darlington, let's have your reaction, in all that has happened to Nwajagu, right from what he said, his arrest, his detention, his incarceration, his prosecution, and finally his acquittal.
Mr. Okoro, when this thing happened, some of us kicked against it. We knew that this particular charge would not stand, because we didn't see anything terrorism in what the man said. We didn't. And so, some of our zealous security agencies went to pick this man just to humiliate and embarrass him. And for 2 years, he was incarcerated. So what happened to all these years that he was detained? It should just go away like that? No. The man should sue Lagos State government for violating his rights. That's the truth.
Okay. Barrister, let's look at what actually led to the arrest and detention. Like what we also know that you are a lawyer. You also know that before a crime is committed, there must be the mental and the physical, aspects of it. Both of them must be in play. There must be in action before you can say that someone has committed a crime. Now, this man was reacting to the fact that, look, Igbo businesses are being attacked both at night and in broad daylight, and that he was going to invite people from the southeast, IPOB members, whether they were IPOB or invite people from the southeast to come and protect. Now, the conception was there, but was the physical actually there? So does that actually constitute a crime in the real sense of the word, criminality?
That is why some of us believe that this thing will not stand. All these years that the man has been, they just want to keep him in the cooler, shopping for charges. But at the end of the day, they have discovered to their own embarrassment that they have nothing against this man.
So why did it take the prosecution so long, up to 2 years, to dispense with a matter as little as impersonation?
Mm-hmm. Even impersonation, please, whom did he impersonate? There is no other Eze Ndigbo in Ajao Estate. It's only this particular man, and it is his Igbo brother that gave him that title. And nobody have challenged it or say anything. He's not dragging any position with any Yoruba Oba in Lagos. So what is impersonation here?
Mr. Darlington, the prosecutor said that, look, he violated the Lagos state law, Oba and Chief's law. Now, the question I want to pose to you now, is it illegal for the Igbo people to have Eze Ndigbo in Lagos?
It's not.
So why the word violation, that he violated the law? I mean, did he brandish a staff of office that was given to him or that purportedly given to him by Lagos state government? No, he didn't. The Igbo people gathered and said, look, this is our Eze Ndigbo. In Ajao Estate, not even in Lagos. And since then, does it mean that we don't have Eze Ndigbo in other parts of the country? Even in Lagos here? Now, I'm just asking. I want us to read through the meaning of violation.
That will tell you that ab initio, they just want to embarrass this man. That is just the final word here. They just want to embarrass him, nothing else.
Okay.
They have nothing against him. And I thank God, the court approved it.
All right.
They have nothing against him.
Now, let's bring in Comrade Roy Oriabo, who is joining us from our Benin office. Comrade Oriabo, good evening once again. Now, let's get straight into the matter. You are very aware of what has happened to Eze Ndigbo Nwajago, in Ajao Estate. He was arrested in 2023 because he said he was going to invite members of the IPOB to come to Lagos and defend the Igbo people, their businesses and property, because they were being attacked day and night by unknown people in Lagos State here. Do you think that actually constitutes a crime in the right sense of the word, criminality? By saying, I am going to. He didn't actually bring, he just said he was going to. Does that, in your estimation, constitute a crime that requires to be punished by the law?
To me, it's never a crime, and it have never suggested to be a crime. I expect the government of say to that he saw people are being molested. Be up busy. I could expect the government of Lagos to look at that aspect critically. That aspect that he wants to call the people. The people were no longer there. The people did not show up. It was never a crime. To me, it's just to show that our government across our board, they go so elementary. Why are you bothering a man who say he wants to protect his people? He wants to protect his life. There are shadow government around everywhere. I have been opportune. I remember, I can still remember when I was arrested, and I found out they have a president. I found out they have a vice president, they have and I have to control to their leadership at the same level. Does that mean that they were doing something different as at that moment? Because once the Igbos heard, they took a decision that we need an Eze Ndigbo. a man who can speak for us, a man who will represent, a man who can lead us at any material time. Does that amount to a crime? Across all, just demonstrated by Lagos State government, telling the Lagos State Igbo that he have committed a crime that is not law to law in anywhere. Anybody can be anyone. You have the backing of the people. They did not use the Lagos Act to arrive to making the Eze Ndigbo. They did not use that. These are a group of people. Anywhere you find yourself, even the Benin, I just came back from the Europe, the Benin, the ESA in Europe, they have organization. Somebody preside over there. Somebody preside over there in US. The US government, the European countries have never seen that as a crime. Everywhere and there you find, you have different persons in diaspora. You recall when Nigeria moved a motion, when Nahara moved for a motion for Nigeria, it was in Nigeria who were students that moved it. Were they in Nigeria at that time? These are critical issues which you also with government to element. These are things that beat my imagination. Why will you detain a man, arrested a man for over 2 years, almost 2 years now? There is nothing. You wasted these 2 years for nothing. At the end of the day, I will advise you to sue the Lagos State government for compensation if possible. Because I see no reason why he should be here. Because what he done means Lagos State government is supposed to put their head. Persons who are under you, these are persons who pay tax to you. These are persons you are supposed to protect by the rules of the government. That the fundamental presence and the is to protect lives and property. You can no longer prevent people who reside. What?
Now, Comrade Roy, does it look like the Lagos State government was being preventive? You know, the kind of stigma, the kind of stereotyping that IPOB people have in the Southeast. Does it look like the Lagos State government was trying to be preventive to ensure that, look, I mean, if we take these things, if we handle it with kid gloves, if we handle it likely that there is a likelihood that IPOB might infiltrate Lagos State, do you think they were just being reactive, they were just being preventive, or what?
What are you being proactive about? What are you bothered about? Why don't take your time? First of all, let us even investigate this position. Let us go back to know that the Igbos in Lagos, at that material there, where they be harassed? These are issues you can look. Is there anything that undermine their stay in Lagos? I explain Lagos because we are one Nigeria. Once a particular geographical zone, a tribe is being you now declare war or a deep so bad. The Ezebo who said that let me call on my people. As far as I'm concerned with me, I remember to call on my people. Call people from the Ezebo. I will call people from the Okwadua that you are my community, you should come rescue. What is wrong with that? What kind of, is it no, Nigeria, before Nigeria was born, we already have our segregation. People were already at the northern Nigeria. People were already different. The name of amalgamation brought us together. It's not enough to also now regulate us by ways that you cannot identify yourself with where you are coming from. Is the Nigerian government not talking about how to be rotating presidency? Is it not to carry out these old settles and not? Why would they not punish a single man who said, and he saw not just saying it, that the people were being oppressed, brutalized, demoralized. And he said, let me call people to come and protect me. Instead of Lagos State government to set up work and protect the people, they were busy chasing shadow. This is another reflection. Another what I call a lazy man approach to government and governance of the Lagos State government. It's quite very unfortunate, and it's unfortunate. There is nothing they were proactive. It's a deliberate attempt to incarcerate this man, to demoralize him, and put him in the collar. And they have succeeded in doing that. And I believe the Eze Ndigbo should immediately approach a court to seek for compensation. You cannot waste 2 years that is very critical in the life of a man. You wasted it like that. You are telling me that the man should just go and sleep. It doesn't happen like that. That's my position. Thank you.
Right. Now let's come back to the studio. Barrister Darlington, does it look like the Igbo community in Lagos abandoned Eze Nwajago, Fabian Nwajago? I mean, he was arrested in 2023 and had to stay up to 2 years in detention for merely trying to defend his people. And we never heard the Igbo community take up the challenge, rise to the challenge to say, look, make some noise about it, you know, whether publicly or go underground to seek his release. And several times he went to court, you know, his bail application was rejected. The issue of abandonment, does it look like he was abandoned by his people, the people that he was trying to protect?
No. I don't think so. We have been talking about him, even in Igbo session. We used to mention his name. We used to call for his release. And eventually it has been done. What is very important here is that it has been done.
No, but I'm talking about effective representation of an Eze Ndigbo, either in the Lagos state or even national, going to the governor to say, look, Mr. Governor, we don't think that this man has committed any offense. Why don't you grant him? Why don't you let the courts grant him bail? Because at a point, does it look like there was some kind of political motivation around his incarceration and detention? Because severally he went to court and bail was rejected. And finally, he was acquitted, but sentenced on a flimsy case of impersonation.
What happened here is that the Igbos were not sleeping. It's just that you have forgotten how the Igbos do their thing. We are not given to rioting and protesting and all that. What is very important here is that it has been done.
No, but I'm talking about effective representation of an Eze Ndigbo, either in the Lagos state or even national, going to the governor to say, look, Mr. Governor, we don't think that this man has committed any offense. Why don't you grant him? Why don't you let the courts grant him bail? Because at a point, does it look like there was some kind of political motivation around his incarceration and detention? Because severally he went to court and bail was rejected. And finally, he was acquitted, but sentenced on a flimsy case of impersonation.
What happened here is that the Igbos were not sleeping. It's just that you have forgotten how the Igbos do their thing. We are not given to rioting and protesting and all that. We do our own advocate quietly and deliberately. I know that people have gone to represent Eze Ndigbo before Sonwolu. I know that.
Okay.
Yes. It's not something we make noise about. People have been going to ask him, what is keeping this our man? And he always tell them, well, it's a court issue. They will soon decide the court matter. Don't worry, he will be released and all that. So I think when the matter is in court, so that you will not be accused of going against the court processes. When the matter is in court, you have to wait. You have to relax. Because no matter how long it takes, the matter will eventually be dispensed of. Just like they have done now. You can't hold the man perpetually in detention. For what? It's not possible.
Okay, now the case has effectively been dispensed with, and he was sentenced to 12 months in prison, but he has spent more than that 12 months. So is there a likelihood that if he goes to court and asks for some kind of recompense, is there a possibility for that to happen?
Yes, this is right. Yes, it is right, because the Lagos State government cannot tell me that with all the legal experts they have in their employment, they didn't know the difference between statement and
Action,
or even self-determination. A man said, look, since people cannot protect me, let me get somebody to protect me. How is that terrorism? Yeah? You and I know that IPOB have been de-proscribed. So all this thing is just to give a dog a bad name in order to hang it. In fact, I'm so disappointed. Now that the court have asked the man to go, who is now in shame? Is it not the Lagos State government that picked him up in the first place? Because they were so sure of what they were doing when they picked him up. Now that you see, people believe that they can impose their will on the court. It's not all cases, so. It is not all cases, because this particular charge cannot be sustained in court. For you to accuse somebody of terrorism, there are so many things that will come in. All the ingredients must be provided. Unfortunately, Lagos State government could not provide anything.
But Barrister, do you think that the government had a hand in his incarceration?
Of course. Is it not Lagos State that
So it was politically motivated, not purely a law and enforcement matter?
Of course. I told you they just want to embarrass the man.
Embarrass him for what reason?
Because
embarrass him or embarrass the Igbo community?
Yes, now because they're Igbo. Embarrass him because they're Igbo. Imagine our own Eze being messed up in such a manner. In the Southeast, don't we have a Yoruba community and they have a leader there? Why didn't we arrest him? So that will tell you the type of governance in Lagos State.
Maybe, if a Yoruba, do you think that a Yoruba leader in the Southeast, if he makes such a comment like he was going to bring OPC to come and protect Yoruba businesses, what do you think would be the reaction of the state governor of that state or the government of that state?
Nobody will even bother with such a statement. The Igbo man I know, they will just move on. They won't even bother with him. I'm telling you. They will not bother with him until the so-called APC come into the Southeast and begin to act in a manner contrary to our beliefs, contrary to our principles. Then we cannot say, look, you people are doing bad here, get out. But you cannot judge a man for what he's thinking inside his heart. You can't. The man said, I will bring. He has not brought it, and you are now charging him to court for what he did not even do.
All right, but Barrister, let's have your concluding thoughts on this matter.
My concluding thought is that, look, whether state or federal, before you begin to harass people, make sure you have a case against him. This man has wasted over 2 years of his life in incarceration. Look at the trauma. Look at the psychological, embarrassment and all that. How do you compensate for it? No amount of money will compensate the man for what he has lost in these 2 years. No amount of money.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Barrister.
Unfortunately, the court did not rule that he should be compensated for wrongful incarceration. That's what the court should have done.
Okay, thank you very much, Barrister Darlington Agomo. Now, Comrade Roy, can we have your concluding thoughts on this matter before we get into the second topic of discussion?
Issue is very direct. I expect the Lagos State government at this matter to apologize to him. If possible, they should draw a way to compensate him. You can't waste 2 years of his life and you are telling me that he should go home. I expect Lagos State now to act immediately so that by a way to bring him as a human being. You are talking about human being who you deliberately waste 2 years of his life. He cannot get it back. Let's assume if the wife was like 42 and it's now 44, 43. It might be West Monopause. Let's assume they were expecting a baby. These are the principles, and they cannot get it. They can't turn the hand of the club back. The Lagos State government must, at this material, to apologize to him, possibly compensate him. If they cannot do that, I expect Eze to immediately go to court to seek for redress. Thank you.
Welcome to Shamras News TV.